plant costs, so factories, right? Maybe you are starting a microbrewery. You are going to make some craft beer. Well, you need to know you're going to have essentially a factory, right? A brewery. What goes into that? Well, the cost of the plant buildings includes the purchase price, as we've seen before. We always start with that good old purchase price. All repair charges that were neglected by the previous owner, so deferred maintenance, right? If you needed to, so usually repair and maintenance is expensed rather than capitalized, and we'll see that a lot, right? Which costs are expensed and capitalized, and I'll take this time to go over it now because it's important, and we'll see it in other sections as well. So we have a cost, right? We have a $10,000 cost. Now, does that add to the value of this fixed asset? Well, in this case, sure, yeah. Let's say we upgrade the machine for $10,000, and now it can produce more units. So it added to its useful value. So now, let's say the value of the machine was $100,000. Now we capitalize it, meaning we capitalize the cost. We add the cost to our capital, to our asset on our balance sheet, and we have more assets now. But let's just say, so again, we have a $100,000 machine. Let's say this cost is normal maintenance, or it's a paint job, or something that doesn't really add value. This is going to be expensed. So not added to the value of the asset. This is going to be an expense on the income statement. Now, the big thing with this here is generally as a company, you want to capitalize more costs because that bolsters your assets as compared to putting on your income statement, which increases your costs. And, as a company, you want to look good, right? You want to look good and have more assets and less expenses. So these rules are very important. That's why we're learning them, because companies need to properly classify their costs, right? We don't want to overstate. I mean, yeah, maybe we want to, right? But that's against the law. We want to overstating those assets and understating those expenses. Super important moving forward. So that's the concept of capitalizing versus expensing. Now, normally maintenance would be just expensed, but if it's something needed to get it ready for its intended use, then that's going to be capitalized to the cost of the building. Alterations and improvements, architect fees, and possible addition of construction period interest. That's a whole topic. We'll see questions on that. Basically, like when you're actually doing the construction, if you incur interest on any borrowings, that can be capitalized. If it's outside of when you are doing the actual construction, then you cannot, and you'll expense that interest. That's the general rule, but we'll see questions on that throughout the exam and prep for it. So when preparing land for the construction of a building, we have our land costs, filling in a hole or leveling it, right? Maybe we need to build a mound on the land, or we need to dig a massive hole. Building costs, digging a hole for the foundation. So yeah, just different costs we'll see. These are going to add to the value, right? The cost of the fixed asset.